right, this is Arthur with Arthur's America. I'm back. We're going to draw Irene Cara today. She passed away last year in November of 2022. A Grammy award-winning singer and songwriter. Most outstanding was the movie Fame with the song Fame with the lines, "I'm going to live forever. I'm going to learn how to fly. You haven't seen the best of me yet." You know, we all want somebody to know that the best of us is yet to come. But we're oops specialists, aren't we, as humans? It's like this can of paint, you know. It gets mixed wrong, it's a mistake. It could even be deliberate, although it's probably not. It's accidental. A lot of our oopses are deliberate. It may be the way we think or act or do things or mistakes that we make, but we need somebody to believe that the best is yet to come for us. I'm going to throw that in the oops box there, and you know, I've got another box I'm looking at, and it's all the drawings that I've done, or not all of them, but a lot of them, thousands of them in those notebooks there. A lot of oops there, a lot of mistakes. You know, you have to fail your way forward in life. Fail, fail again, fail forward, as they say. Look at the one on top there. There's Alec Trebek, the Jeopardy guy. He passed away last year also. What's he saying there? That's kind of clever. Alec is saying, "I know all the answers." That's pretty good. Alec, you know, Jeopardy, you know all the answers now. I mean, if we make it to judgment to the point where we enter the gates of heaven and we can have that kind of glory, we're going to know all the answers then. We're not going to know them right now, but we'll know them then. So, you haven't seen the best of me yet. Irene Cara, let's draw a little bit here and see how to do this. Here's our nice image from probably when she was about 25 years old. I've got my couple of pins here. I've got my brush tip on one end, my fine tip on the other end, and I even have a finer tip pin I like to use. And I'll probably go back and forth. Let's start with the eyes, work our way down. Here's something like that. Top of that right eye, let's come down and let's finish out there. Got a little bit of a line over the eye. Got some lash here. And that color part of the eye, which is generally 50% of the eye, we're going to give her a gleam in the eye there. You see that little gleam there? We even give her a little extra lash. Now here's the eyebrow coming across. Hers is nice and dark. It comes down fairly tight, and I'll do something like that with it. Come over with the fine line pen and down, make it a little thinner to end. Okay. Now the other eye, I don't want to get too close together with the eyes. If I look at the distance here, I see that the width of the eye is at least the distance between her two eyes, maybe even a little farther apart. So I'm going to come over and start the other eye about like that, and we'll lash that out as well. Those lashes are working better there already. A little line over the top. I've got a bottom part of her eye with a thin line. Remember, sometimes we don't want a lot of thick, fat lines. I like to make thin lines and contrast them with thick lines. The top of the eye is a thicker line, the bottom is a thinner line. Here's that other colored part of the eye in there. Again, roughly 50%. Add the gleam, add the brow. Now the brows are fairly tight together. Look back at our picture, you see how they're coming, I don't know, within an inch or less of each other where they stop. That's very important when I look at a face. How tight are the brows together? They don't touch. Some people's actually come close to touching. There's a gene for that. I'm going to start at about here, and let's come over like that. Okay, and then it's kind of fat, and then it thins down. I'll even give it an extra like that. We'll start to fill in some of that brow, make it a little darker there. I can even come up from the ends like that. Okay, there's the eyes. I might want to add a little more lash there as well. Now here's the nose. It's not super large. It's kind of small to average in size, kind of cute, kind of rounded on the end. So let's bring it up, let's say about that. And maybe like that. Maybe show a little bit like that. So I'm going to fill in a little bit more detail in the nose maybe as we go. I can maybe darken those openings a little bit. We're coming down to the mouth now. All right, we've got fairly full lips, top and bottom. The bottom lip being fuller than the top one. And I'm going to start that about here. And it's not too wide. It's wider than the nose, but it's not too wide. Let's maybe start the beginning with a little dimple. Now that's a fatter line I did, although I don't want it to be too fat, but I'm gonna go thin line for the top of the lip, all right? So, see how I'm doing that? I'm not even finishing that line. I'm just sort of stopping. I mean, a caricature is an illusion, it's an impression, and we wanna get general shapes in place. Now here's the lips, and they're gonna come around, and we're gonna go like that, and all right, and then I'm going to make that bottom lip fairly full. You see how I'm doing that? I want to give it some character there. I'll save the details of the teeth later. There's not really much there. All we have to do is put a few lines. But let's look at the chin. We can always come back and fill in some details at the end. Now that's a small chin. It's not very far below her lower lip. And we probably have a little bit right under her lip there. I'm going to come around chin right around like this. That wasn't too difficult, was it? You know, people say, well, I can't even draw a straight line. Well, there's not really a lot of straight lines in a character drawing. It's curved lines is what you need. Now we're going to come around with the face. It's kind of heart-shaped. And I'm going to come on down. All right, and then back around the other side with like that. We got a hairline coming across. I want to soften that effect a little bit, not really any hard lines. The way I see it, the hair is coming over and down like that. And back on the other side. All right, I'm going to come in with some earrings here also and just add those in. And I want to do it both sides. Let's maybe make those a little tighter. We do see some ear there. So I can finish the hair off in a moment. Let's go back to the eyes, make them look a little darker. Let me do this. Let's fill in right there, like that. And then the cheeks, we got a little dimple there. Not much, just a little bit. See that? I got a little bit of cheek coming down there and there. And I think at this point, what's missing is maybe some teeth lines, which we can do. I like to usually put the middle one, and then maybe something like that. And then we can fill in the shoulders. And I got a little necklace there. Why not give her a little bit more jewelry there? And a little bit of body. Bring the arms out a little bit. Am I missing anything? Sometimes maybe want to add a little bit more character to the lip, something like that. Oh yes, the hair needs to be finished off. That's not a problem. We're just going to give it some character lines there. Just enough to show some wavy wave. And that's basically it. I could make the brows darker, but I think I may just foul it up if I try to do too much more with the brows, but we can darken them up a little bit. Let's go that way and that way. All right, and maybe a little bit of dimple effect on the cheeks. And there's Miss Irene Cara. I'm gonna live forever. You know, there will never be a day that you won't be. There will never be a day that you and I won't be. Now, where that will be, I'll leave that for the preachers and the teachers and the Bible study and all of that, personal study and listening to sermons and the Word of God that we need to do as well. But there will never be a day that you won't be. And that's really encouraging news for us. And, you know, again, we've all made mistakes. We need the grace of God. We'll make a few while we're drawing, but that's okay. They're erasable, all right? So don't let anybody write you off or malign you in any way or cast you curbside. You're in the A story of your life, no matter what mistakes have been made. You're in the A story still. You're not just over in a box like I threw that paint can or where all my drawing books are, which I keep them in a much more organized stack. And so thank you for joining me. So let's go take the country one drawing at a time.